For the last 6 months, I've been in Zambia working on a project to develop a site use and land management plan for the Rufunza Conservancy, a 90,000 acre protected landscape that lies on the northern border of the Lower Zambezi National Park in Lusaka province. This project contains both infrastructural and programmatic design. And for the development of both of those elements, I've relied heavily on a notebook for the initial design all the way through the final concepts. And in this video, I wanted to talk about this notebook, how I use it for my design process and the design process in general for this project. I use this notebook essentially as a second brain. You'll see as I flip through the pages that not only am I recording ideas here, but I'm using the pages to flesh out those ideas through the use of lists and diagrams. Whether the thought in mind has to do with the design of a program or of a structure, I find that having it on paper in front of me allows me to sort and arrange the idea more easily than I can in my head. Being able to see the moving pieces in relation to each other at one time gives me a greater sense of their individual importance and order. Then, in the matter of creating diagrams, the iterative process that the notebook affords is invaluable. Here you can see a series of diagrams being done, each only taking a few minutes and each giving me an idea for the next based on what I've either liked or disliked about the one I just finished. This particular design is a simple spatial layout for a dormitory building, consisting of a men and women's bunk room, along with storage space, an entrance, and an outdoor area. There are two main reasons I like using a notebook such as this for this type of design work. The first is utility. I can take this with me, jot down thoughts, flesh out ideas and diagram, different parts of the design process wherever I am. And everything in regard to this project is all contained in this one notebook to reference for this project or for future use. And the second reason is the sentimentality. This notebook has become a physical memory of my time here in Zambia working on this project. So I'll go home and put this on a bookshelf and, in the future, I'll pick it up, finger through the pages of Zambia 2023 and, be able to remember my time here and all the different things that went into making this project. The main element of this project is a wilderness institute that the company I am working for will use to host events and courses focused on conservation and outdoor activities. The institute will comprise a large open-air learning facility that will contain a classroom, library, museum, and office. Accompanying this facility will be a number of structures to host the guests of the institute, such as a dormitory, bathroom, and kitchen building. These sketches are of a basic site layout, citing each individual element and taking into account the movement through the site, as well as the negative space in between these structures. Large spaces are designed for outdoor activities and future development, while smaller spaces lend themselves to the connectivity of buildings and provide more intimate spaces. These drawings illustrate the importance of the iterative process of creating concepts. Once a layout for the site is found that I think will provide the most effective and efficient use, I can begin to create more detailed diagrams such as this. This drawing takes a closer look at how each element within the site relates to one another, as well as the effect that the existing elements of the site, such as terrain, vegetation, and microclimate, has on the design. The last thing I wanted to discuss in this video is the choice of notebook itself. It doesn't matter too much. This particular notebook is a Tau tree. I bought it on a whim off Amazon. It came in a pack of 3 or 4, and it was maybe $20. I don't know if this company still exists or if they make this notebook, but that's all rather incidental. There are a few qualities of this notebook that I like, and that's what I wanted to talk about. The first is its durability. It has a fairly sturdy cover, which is important. As I said, I bring this notebook everywhere with me, so to be able to throw it in a backpack and not have it get destroyed is rather important. The second quality is the paper itself. This isn't particularly nice paper. It's certainly not drawing paper, but it is thick, which means it doesn't get tattered, and it also doesn't bleed through with certain markers, which is nice. And the final quality of this notebook, which may be the most important, is the pattern. So obviously you have line, you have blank, you have grid. This one in particular is a dot grid, which I like because it allows me to write with some form of organization, as well as creating diagrams that are somewhat organized, and it lets me work with a certain amount of rough proportionality. And it also, the pattern's subtle enough that it can sort of fade away if I'm doing any sort of sketching, and I don't have to rely on the pattern. But this is what's worked for me for the past 6 months. I've used a lot of notebooks that are similar to this, be it not this brand, and it's probably one of the most important tools in my toolbox as a designer, regardless of the project. So that's it for this video. If you did watch it, thank you. This project is coming to a close. I will have a few more videos up in regard to some of the work I've done here, and maybe just kind of a overall view of Zambia and this area that I'm in.